Hey board gamers! In most worker placement games, you usually only use one board and reset it every round, right? Well, what if I told you that there is one unique game that instead uses a completely different board each round? Interested? Then you might wanna stick around and hear more about Almanac the Dragon Road. In this game, you play as a traveler with a caravan trying to gain money and fame by trading goods as you journey through the Dragon Road. You, along with 1, 2, 3 of your competitors, will travel together and decide which path to take during the journey, while also encountering several things along the way. Each player starts the game with 3 workers, 2 contracts, 1 starting caravan, and a player's shield, as well as some gold or money based on turn order. Instead of a board in the middle, the table setup will require the game book to be opened to its first page, and a number of caravan extension cards equal to the number of players are displayed next to the book. Players will take turns placing one worker on a spot that is not occupied by other players. After you place a worker on a spot, you will then do that spot's action. Those are the 2 basic main rules that will always apply. However, each different page that you travel to will have a slight extra variation added to the rule. On this starting page, for example, the extra rule here says that you cannot have more than one worker of yours occupying the same colored hut, meaning moves like this will not be allowed because your other worker visited that hut already in the previous round. There are 6 types of common spots that you will see on all the pages. The first type simply lets you take the displayed goods onto your caravan. So if you went here, you will then take 2 blue crates from the bank onto your caravan. Everyone starting caravan will only be able to fit 6 goods. Luckily, the second common spot type that you can take allows you to extend your caravan. Using the spot allows you to buy one of the displayed caravan extensions. The cost of each extension is displayed on the card's top left banner. For example, this particular one requires 8 gold, a blue crate, and a green crate. In return, you will get 3 extra item space, 1 strength, 1 worker, and 14 fame. Each extension offers you different rewards for different costs, so you can buy the one that matches your priority. The third type of common spot allows you to sell any number of the displayed goods from your caravan each for the price listed. For example, this spot will allow me to sell 5 of my blue crates for 4 gold each, giving me 20 gold. Alternatively, you could go to the 4th common spot and spend those goods to complete a contract. Each player starts with 2 contracts. Each contract will tell you the required goods to complete it and the rewards that you'll get upon completion. For example, this particular one requires 2 blue and 1 green crate to complete in exchange for 21 fame and a free blue crate every time you enter a new map. The contracts that you get will vary in requirements and rewards. When you have 1 or 0 uncompleted contract, you can go to this common spot to draw 3 new ones and choose one to keep. Be careful though, as unfinished contracts at the end of the game will become minus points instead. And finally, the last common spot allows you to do one of these 3 things. The first 2 options are just plain lame and should only be used as a last resort. I would like to imagine that the game is secretly judging you and got disappointed when you use those actions. The third option, however, gives you a guard token that adds 2 strength to your caravan, which I'll explain in a bit. After everyone has placed their workers, the round is considered over and everyone collects back their workers. All players will then simultaneously bid for this compass token. Everyone secretly holds a number of gold in their hand before revealing it at the same time. If you hold the most gold, you'll win the bid and get the compass, but you will only have to pay gold equal to the lowest bid amount. Winning the compass gives you a few things. 1, you'll be the first player for next round. 2, you'll get to decide which map to go next. And 3, you'll get the first dibs on the encounter you are about to face. The game will always show you 2 places you can travel to for the next round. It also gives a bit of info on which crate is worth more to sell and which ones are more abundant to obtain. If an item is closer towards the left gold symbol, that means the map will let you sell that crate for more money. Whereas if an item is closer towards the right crate symbol, it means that there is more abundance of that item. After choosing the next destination, you will get a random encounter. There are multiple different encounters in the game. An encounter could just be as simple as choosing between A or B. In these simple ones, the compass holder will sometimes also get to decide what everyone will get. The ones that you will want to watch out for though are those combat encounters. Combats are done 1v1 and always starts with the compass holder. The fighting player rolls the combat die and add the result to their total strength from the caravan and guard tokens that they have. The encounter card will show the opponent's strength. If you manage to equal or have more strength, then you have won the encounter and received the listed reward. No one else will get to fight the encounter when this happens. However, if your total strength is lesser or you are just unlucky enough to roll this instant fail side, then you have lost the encounter and get the listed penalty. The battle continues with the next player in turn order fighting the encounter the same way. This will continue until everyone has lost or someone has defeated the encounter. So obviously, having first dibs to an encounter isn't always good, since you wouldn't know what kind of encounter you'll get until you turn the card over. Though having more strength does increase your chance of not getting blown up. The game has A to E encounter cards, and the book will tell you which one to use. The combat encounters will progressively require more strength, as listed at the back of everyone's player shield. After the encounter is done, you will flip the book to the page previously chosen by the compass holder. The caravan extension row is reset to display new extensions, and the new page will be prepared according to the new rules. Then everyone will start placing their workers all over again. I'm about to spoil what's on this round 2 page, so if you don't want to hear it, jump into this timestamp instead. Okay, so in this map, you cannot place your workers orthogonally adjacent to your other workers. There is also a new unique spot which allows you to take one of these letter tokens to be delivered to one of the later areas. If you manage to go to the map written at the back of your letter token, you will instantly gain 12 gold. And that's the end of spoiler territory. The 6th area you travel to will be the final one, and the game ends ends when everyone has placed all their workers on that map. Each player then sums up their fame and money, and whoever has got the most combined total will win the game. That's basically all the non-spoiler rules of the game. So how good is Almanac? I'll just outright say that this game actually slaps. It goes without saying that the constantly changing map or play area is pretty damn unique. Honestly, I was quite worried at first about having to learn new rules introduced every round. You know that it might get a bit tiring after a while, but nope, the new rules usually only take between 1 to 2 minutes to learn and are mostly very simple. I really like how the game has those adventure/exploration elements without the baggage it usually comes with. I'm talking about the encounters and choosing between paths that usually only happens in long campaign or legacy games. They managed to put all that in neatly in this one great simple package that you can just play through in a single session. It's really well done. The game has 17 unique areas in total. The area for the first round is always the same, while the second and final round always have 2 choices, all of which are always accessible. Round 3, 4 and 5 however has 4 unique areas each that are conditionally accessible depending on your chosen route. If my calculations are correct, then this game can technically play in 32 different ways. Here's the list of the 32 different combinations. This kind of replayability might cause every board gamer to wet themselves. But let's be real here. A lot of these entries are mostly similar and overlapping with the other combinations in the list. You'll probably get mostly different maps in perhaps 4 to 5 of the runs, which is already a lot more replayable than your average worker placement game. All the praises aside, I do have a few reservations about this game. First off, the rules can be quite ambiguous at times. Take for example this simple placement rule described on the rulebook. Quote, each player places one worker from their caravan on an available action space and resolves that space. End quote. No further emphasis on what available means, and no specific mention that a space can only be occupied by one worker. It's no wonder that several people on Board Game Geek were asking for this exact same thing, because not all worker placement games follow this rule. Now let's compare it to another rulebook with the exact same placement rule. Quote, to assign an agent, place it on any unoccupied space of a building, whether a basic building or one that has been put into play. You cannot place an agent on an action space that contains another agent, yours or another player's. The difference in clarity here is night and day. I had to watch Dice Tower's live play of this game to clarify some other rules, and when Tom said,
"Is that how that works?"
that was me like times 5 when I played the game for the first time, followed by a few BGG forum search. Moving on to the next problem that I have, namely the extra workers that you can obtain. I've addressed this multiple times in my other videos. Extra workers in worker placement games are problematic. In short, they are way too good to not prioritize as they give you diminishing extra turns, and yet due to placement rules, obtaining them is often hard and sometimes just downright unfair. To make things worse, there is just no downside at all in having extra workers. 1. The workers don't have a recurring upkeep cost like most other games, you know, like having to feed them every round. 2. They do not take up space in your caravan. 3. They are versatile compared to the contract rewards, as the benefits you get from most contract rewards can also be obtained by getting that extra turn. And 4. Perhaps the most ridiculous thing that pushes them into the overpowered state is that they also give you extra caravan space. Caravan space is probably the second most important thing in the game. Aside from allowing you to carry many more goods, it also makes your sell goods spots even more efficient. As we already know, 1 gold is 1 point at the end of the game. The best way to obtain gold is through your sell goods action, where you sell any number of 1 good type from your caravan. Having more space in your caravan makes it way easier to hoard 1 good type before dumping them all in that one spot. The game clearly encourages you to do this, as the sell goods action towards the end of the game can give you up to 8 gold per good, which has a higher goods to points conversion rate than your contracts. Realistically, no, you're not going to fill the whole caravan with 1 good, but even just selling 8 or 9 of them in one go gives you an insane point advantage. Yep, all that plus extra workers is pretty overpowered, so the quote-unquote correct play will be to rush them first every game. But you know what's even weirder? Despite me basically just roasting and over-analyzing the game like a minute ago, I would still recommend you to play it because it's still a very fun game. And no, I'm not getting paid to say that, although I can be. It's such a shame because the game could have easily been a 10 out of 10 if it weren't for those glaring issues. I really hope they fix them in the next book that's coming out later this year. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my channel for more videos like this and leave a comment down below. Anyways, that's all. See ya!